I don't know if I've ever had this many people in here.
Oh my goodness. Hey everyone, welcome to Yakult and Somph. We're here with the sickest music producer, synthesizer, composer, DJ, multimedia artist in Brooklyn. They combine R&B, dream pop, house, and more to create music that has a really strong DIY ethos based on transparency and joy. Truly an honor to have them here. Welcome, Mena.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to start off this interview with talking about your time in New York, because New York seems to really be your city. Talk to me about like how you started in the New York music scene.
Yeah, I was really lucky. Literally like the first week I moved to New York, I was taken sort of under the wing of this really amazing collective called Yellow Jackets. And they are in like a queer Asian American political collective is how I would describe them. They might have a better byline, but I basically came to New York and I was like, yo, do you want to throw a show? And we just started booking like tons of different queer people and queer DJs who were just starting out. And so I really started in like the nightlife scene, and I was just DJing a lot in spaces like that and meeting a lot of people, and it was a really special time. And I was still kind of figuring out the recording artist thing, but yeah. I really was like a busy DJ was my start, which
I mean, I've always been curious. You started as Shamami, and then you moved to Blue Mena. Mm-hmm. What do these alter egos kind of mean to you? I know alter egos can be very helpful in, you know, showing to the world what you want to show. Who are these alter egos, and why do you switch them up?
Totally. Ushamami kind of happened by accident. Like I was just in college and I got my first ever DJ gig. And this was in Providence, Rhode Island, and like which has a really amazing, vibrant, small music scene. And a lot of really sick DIY spaces. So like I started out just like people were just like, want to come play in this warehouse, and they were like setting up art installations and like speakers, and that was normal there. And they were like, do you want to just DJ? Because I just been like practicing in my room. And I was like, yeah. So I just like randomly picked this name, which has links to my family, of course. My mom's name is Usha, and so is my paternal grandmother. And it kind of just was that type of thing that happens when you're young, where like I wasn't really thinking, I was just doing. And one thing led to another, and I was like just ended up in this music career that was just starting. I was like making music. I was very like kind of more in the like dark R&B club kid space at the time in terms of my taste, and like really obsessed with like James Blake and Kalela and artists like that.
Yeah.
I say you could probably hear that kind of influence in my earlier stuff.
Yes.
And the Ushamami stuff, and just like spontaneously put out an EP and like did a DIY tour on it, and like that just like I wasn't really planning what I wanted my career to be. I was just doing it,
right?
And I was really enjoying it, and this was also in tandem of the era I just talked to you about coming to New York and like graduating school, coming to New York. And there was this kind of dissonance that started where I was like, I do love this, I love the club, I love nightlife, I love this music that I'm making, but what I'm going home and listening to is really different. Yeah. And the music that I think feels like most close to me is really different, and I have no idea how to make that kind of music. So I think the pandemic hit, and I was like, I think even though maybe now the music might end up being close to like club kids stuff at some point or whatever, like I just really needed a moment to like reset and be like, okay, this is what I want this project to be. Yeah. And also just like coming into my gender and growing as a person, and just felt like time for a fresh start.
And we talked before about like your somatic connection to music, like off interview, but to just talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think I've learned over and over that like feeling embodied and at home in my body is like the key to making music that feels good and feels close to me, and getting out of my head. And in this day and age, that's just so hard. Living in an intense city like New York, that's so hard. Being online, like I just get so in my head. So exercising, like just coming more into my gender, being playful in my gender, cooking, really anything that like helps me feel a sense of like nervous calm, makes me feel so much more confident creatively, and feels really connected to my creative process. I feel like so much of my creative process happens outside of this room, and just like
in that mundane
like on the runs, lifting weights. Like I cured some salmon yesterday, or I made what's called gravlax. Oh,
I'm vegetarian.
And
I am
good Indian vegetarian. I should be a vegetarian. But no, I saw a video and I was like, I'm gonna make that. And so I just like ran to the grocery store. But like while I was like pouring salt and sugar over this piece of salmon, I was like deep in thought, or deep in like a creative kind of I don't know space, and like then I'm scribbling down in my notebook, oh, like try this with this track. So it's like this constant kind of like state of play and moving around that feels, I don't know.
Time is such a container. Like you need time to actually incubate ideas and actually make them what you want them to be, and reflect and not be reactive to things, you know?
Totally.
I think that's really important to, the mundanity really gives you that unadulterated time.
Yeah, or just like the feeling that there isn't something like coming.
Correct. Like it's a free
so
day.
Hard.
Like that's wow.
It's
awesome.
The best.
It's the best. It's the best.
Hard to come by.
It's hard to come by. Like, when you're still, that's when you can actually not be delusional about your reality. Like you can actually be real and be human and stand on your humanity and be grounded. And I think that's so important, like to deliberate on music, to deliberate on your own thoughts.
Totally.
Like, and I think it's difficult to come by in New York and, you know, like cue the horns, like like exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's been so nice to have like this space in Sunset Park. I feel very still here. There's a beautiful view. I can see like the horizon, which feels really helpful. But yeah, stillness is very, finding my way back to that is difficult and gratifying.
A lot of your music style comes from the intersection of technology. How does technology facilitate your style?
That's a really good question. Thanks. I don't know. I'm such a nerd, and I love like sounds. I love sounds that are like uncanny and kind of in the in between. Or like like favorite thing is like when you hear something, you're like, what is that? Is that a guitar? Is that a piano? I can't tell. Like I just love, and I like playing with my voice and doing things like that make it sound kind of like, whoa, it sounds familiar, but it's different. I studied computer science in school. Like a good Indian boy.
Like a good Indian boy.
Or like, much to the like request and demand of my parents. And I doubled in music and did a lot. I've worked in like the art tech space. I like using technology in a way that feels there's still a familiar quality to it. Like maybe it reminds me of like something I've heard in the past, but there's something kind of like twisted or like abstracted about it that makes it feel new. I learned the word hypnagogic.
Okay,
recently,
hypnagogic,
which means like invoking what I was told. This could be totally wrong.
Okay, real.
Invoking a feeling of cultural memory.
Wow.
Which is dangerous. I think nostalgia and obsession with nostalgia is not something I'm interested in doing, but I think like I love music that gives you both of those feelings at once. Like, oh, this reminds me of something I've heard or experienced in the past, but it also has me looking forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that, nostalgia is something that when you manipulate too much can just alter memory. I think it's important to keep nostalgia nostalgic and in the past and to touch upon it. You know, when you retrieve a memory too much, it starts fading. Like,
I literally have a song about that on my record.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
That's crazy. Yeah. I literally just finished a song about that. Yeah. I think about all this so much. Everyone's obsessed with like 90s and 2000s sounds, and like 10 years ago it was the 80s. And we live in a time that it's hard to look forward and feel optimistic. So I feel like a particular obsession with the past and with nostalgia right now. And I actually like want to push against that. Like I think in order to like like I want to actually like have a really like radical and imaginative look towards the future, just as a person and like in my communities. And I don't know, I guess that does kind of relate to the way I think about music too, because like, yes, I am drawing upon the past, but I want it to still have like a newness to it, or like a I don't know, I've been lately like exposing myself to a lot more like avant-garde sounds, and I get it. It's fucking cool. Yeah.
Do you ever sample outdoors?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I do a lot of sampling of like just like recording around the city and train sounds and of my friends. And the record I'm working on now has a lot of like found sound just like trickled throughout, and it really just makes things feel so much more intimate if there's like non-musical elements.
Correct. Okay, so for those that don't know your music, or those that are already into your music but want a better look into who you are, what are 3 tracks that you've put out already that really embody you as a person and artist?
That's such a good question. Okay, I think my 3 favorite songs I've made are Gums, which is the title track of the EP I just put out. Jewels, which was like a kind of more dancey track I put out last year that samples Let Them Engage Car, and I feel like it's just really fun and like euphoric. And then there's a song on my first record called Twisted Time that I'm really proud of. It has like kind of the Arthur Russell vibe, who's my favorite artist, and I began it with an Arthur Russell sample, and then I was like, I had a re-recording stuff, so I didn't have to get it cleared. But I really love the songwriting on that too, and it's not a love song, but it's still interesting, and I think I'm proud of that. Like I write a lot of love songs, but that song is about kind of like choosing certain life paths and choosing an alternative life path. It's about queer time also, and how time moves differently when you're queer and have a queer life.
I mean, Multi-Adolescence and, you know, tracks before were very based on the queer experience and queer joy and transparency on that joy. Is that something that you're exploring in the new album?
Honestly, no. I think like actually making the last one, I was very focused on transness and queerness when I was making that, and like on my own transness, and I then had to talk about it so much afterwards, and I felt kind of like people were nailing me down as like a queer artist, which frustrated me, because I was like, I'm obviously like not just that, or like I'm so queer and I love that part of my life, and like I'm just as much as like a capital A artist as like my cis guy peers or whatever. And yeah, this next one I feel like is so much more about like my sound, and is and in terms of like lyrical content, it is it's about a lot of things. It's definitely based in heartbreak and about like going to the edges of romantic love and kind of having to like face myself. It's very inspired by Giovanni's Room. I'm gonna get really like literary, but like understand.
No, I love that book.
Yeah, your body and yourself at home, like, and how like a really fraught romantic relationship can really like agitate that.
Right.
I mean, it's about so many things, but yeah, I have 2 songs on the record that are like literally David and Giovanni. But yeah, that's kind of like my long-winded. I haven't come up with the blurb yet because I'm still finishing it, but it's about not queerness, but it'll always be gay because it's me.
Well, good. It should be you. So being Indian American, especially, for me, musical influences have been always all over the place. Like, I used to listen to Shakira and like Michael Jackson and Beyonce, and then on the other hand, like listen to like Rahman and all these different like Indian artists. Who did you grow up with?
I grew up like, I feel like there's a few kind of like touch points, musical like influences I grew up with. My dad is like obsessed and kind of a scholar of like Indian classical and also like early Bollywood stuff.
Got it.
And like famously like blasts it in the kitchen at like 6 a.m. and like wakes us all up. Like I just like woke up to that sound a lot. we have a really beautiful relationship even now, just like sharing Indian music that we find. And he often makes me like YouTube playlists of like so covers sweet. He really likes. He's like, you should sample this. It's really sweet. And like we want to start going to more concerts together, and really that is like my relationship to Indian music is really through my dad. And then my mom is Indian, and like or her parents are from Lahore, and they're Hindu, so Indian Pakistani, and
partition vibes,
but we're Indian. And but she grew up in Scotland and the States, so like her dad was studying to be a doctor in Scotland when she was born, and then he, through a series of laws that was passed right after the civil rights movement, through like a lot of MLK's work, certain Indian immigrants were allowed to come in, and so he ended up being the like family doctor in a rural town in upstate New York, and that's where my mom grew up, and they were like the only brown family for like miles and miles. My mom loves like classic rock and loves like, I grew up listening to like John Denver and like the Beatles.
Oh my goodness.
And like I love that kind of songwriting, and so that was what was at home. And then in the city I grew up in, Cambridge, it was just like hip hop and R&B, and like a lot of friends like freestyling in the like little mall in Harvard Square, like. So yeah, I grew up listening to a lot of like, now they're like so canceled, but like Jay-Z and Kanye, and like so those are kind of like what I was surrounded by.
Speaking of influences, I think media influences are also really prominent in your music. I know you just talked about Giovanni's Room. So what is a piece of media you think that describes you best?
Whoa. Oh, yes. Okay. A piece of media that describes me best. I guess like the piece of media that I'm identifying most with right now is Mississippi Masala, the film, which like
awesome
is having, I think such a moment, since I think it was like redistributed, because I remember like maybe 4 years ago I was trying to find it, and the only way was to check it out at the library,
right? And
like it was always checked out, and then now it's like on HBO, and I saw it on the plane, like but shout out to Mira Nair, Zoran's very accomplished mother and filmmaker, and
shout out Zoran.
Shout out Zoran. It's an intense, I don't know, this will come out afterwards. Like, let's put put a prayer in, light something. But I really, really love that film. I think I have very few examples like in media. I've seen very few examples in media that have such like a rich portrayal of like a diasporic experience, but not in relation to whiteness. I grew up around a lot of white people and a lot of other immigrant communities, and so like I think I formed a lot of my understanding of like my own like diasporic identity, and like just my own like Indian Americanness, like not just in relation to like being different from white kids, but also being different from and like in solidarity with like all of the other types of people I was growing up around in Cambridge. Like so like it's cool to see something like that.
Right. And I know we just talked about the Black community, and I think it's important to acknowledge the intersection and support and like the amount of groundwork that the Black community did to like totally for us to even be here.
I mean my mom's family like wouldn't be here without the civil rights movement, so
right. And I think Mississippi Masala is just, you know, gives credence to that struggle a little bit in a more lighthearted way.
Romantic drama,
right?
Too. It's like just it's actually at the core of it is just like romance. It's just, and I'm so romantic, so I just like I love that. I don't know if it like represents me, but I just really, really love that film.
What has been the most romantic thing you've done lately?
Whoa, it's a really good question. Most romantic thing I've done, I feel like, I don't know, I'm like constantly trying to be romantic in my life and like romanticizing it.
You had a good meal lately?
So many good meals. I feel like like just like driving to the beach with my friends and like jumping in the water, like something about that is really romantic to me. In like early summer when it's still really cold. Wow. I'd be going to the beach in like April. I'm crazy.
Okay,
I'm a New England boy. Like I go in freezing cold water. Right. I love it. It feels so good on the body.
Okay, not me, but
yeah.
You stay safe. How do you prevent strategy in business from co-opting your creative process?
It's really hard. I feel like I often will like see something. I'm not immune to this and not embarrassed to admit. I'll see something online that's working or on streaming that's working and be like, oh, I could do something like that.
Yeah.
But it never results in something that I like. Like, I think I've learned over and over that like copying a projection of what something is, like, especially if it's coming from a place of like, oh, that's succeeding, so I should be doing that, never really ends up in something feels true to me.
Right.
There's just like, I think a lot of pressure to make big songs.
Right.
To make singles, to make songs that can be get on a playlist, whatever. And whenever I start a song from that place, it just ends up sounding so forced. Like I am striving for that. I mean, sometimes you got to get in the mood to make a banger.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
like, you gotta get the energy.
Yeah.
But I can't force that. And like I always remind myself when I'm feeling that way, like strategic. I'm like, one of the best songs of all time in my like opinion is "Fade Into You." Which like I think a lot of people would agree. Like that is like to me like what's the word? The superlative.
The beacon
of like this is what a song does to you. And like what music can do. And I'm like, Mazzy Star did not sit down and that whole group, like they did not sit down and be like, let's make a single.
Right.
Like they just
made it.
They just like touched God for a second, like, and you can't force that. It just happens. Yeah, I'm really, really trying to be a lot more mindful of like days that I get in here and I'm feeling urgent and I'm feeling like, oh, I just need to make something to like make my team happy or something, is not going to end up in something good, and I should probably just like go for a walk. But
right. Do you ever get mad when it works? Does it work? Has it worked?
I feel like the songs I've liked most, for the most part, have worked. So I don't know. Good. At the end of the day, like getting a big number next to a song like never feels as good. Or like getting on his playlist or getting whatever never feels as good as like making something that I can send to a friend and be like, look, isn't this cool? The eternal kind of challenge of an artist is to like not try to make what you think people will like.
Correct.
Because what you think people will like is just a total projection and it's probably false.
Right.
Like just people make what you you can feel it. You can feel it when I can feel it when I look back at stuff where I'm like, I was just making that because I felt like I needed a single,
right? And
it like doesn't hit as much as something that's just like from the heart or from feeling.
Right. So now we're gonna talk about your album. Okay. So coming off your album Multi-Adolescence, which had like a sold out show in Brooklyn, which is super sick. How do you think this new album is the same as Multi-Adolescence? How do you think it's different?
Thanks, that's a good question. It's totally different. I hope. I mean, of course it's still me, but I think I kind of like touched on this before. I think like when I was making that record, I was just like, I just want to make a song or like something that's listenable. I don't know. I was just kind of like throwing paint at the wall, whatever the expression is. And really there wasn't it. I mean, when I listen to it, I'm like, this isn't very cohesive. I think other people are like, this sounds like one person singing the whole thing. So
that's what I think.
But this next one, I was like a lot more intentional about my production style, and I do always move around in genres because I just can't make in one type of music, but like the sounds that I use and the style that I'm like the way I'm engineering and producing all of it is the same for every single one, so it really sounds like one cohesive space. It sounds like itself. And I feel like this one is more experimental and I don't know how to describe it, and I think that's a good thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Room
It's
for
like
God.
room for God. I hope. And yeah, I think the last one, I've really learned a lot more about songwriting since making that one. I took a couple of songwriting classes since making that one, because I was like, oh, I know how to produce and I know how to play music, but I wanted to learn about like I didn't grow up like with the folk indie kids. Those were the white kids. Like I was not even like, I love that kind of music, but I was not around songwriters growing up. I was around like jazz kids and rappers, and yeah, I love production more than anything, but like writing a good song, like melody and lyrics, has to be at the center of everything for me, for it to feel like really satisfying.
Right, okay. When can we expect the album? Is this like me being a label, like me being your team?
Who knows?
Yeah, my team sent your team sent me here to ask you this question. Soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost done.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Yeah. Then we got to get all the stuff together. So.
Yeah. So before we say goodbye, I have something for you.
Oh.
For you to digest this conversation. So I have some Yakult and some Somph. So like, for people that don't know, Somph is a digestive usually consumed at the end of like an Indian meal and South Asian meals, and you kind of just take it in like one shot and you kind of put it in your mouth. And then there's Yakult, which I'm sure many of us already know. So I know we talked about dairy restrictions earlier.
So much. No, I love Somph.
Yeah. Tell me if you want some more.
I keep the candied ones on my.
Oh my goodness.
You remember when you were a kid, did you go and like
pick out the candy ones?
Should I wait for you? Or?
Yeah, we can cheers it together. I'm trying to open my Yakult. Cheers.
Cheers. I feel it all over the room. Do you like wash it down?
Yakult.
Is that what you do?
No, but I feel like I'm gonna try.
You waiting for me?
Yeah. Okay. Cheers.
So good.
I took like a shot. Like, okay.
I haven't had that in so long. It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. I have more. If you want them. I have like 3 more. We can kill them. Thanks for watching this episode of Yakult and Somph. Thank you so much, Mena, for being here.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
Yay. Okay. Bye, y'all.
Oh.
Yay.